Saying good morning to you once again to the entire Travelers in Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, the world. Welcome. It's a mid-morning buzz. Yes, it's GT once again. Let me say good morning to our viewers this morning via GBN TV. Welcome once again. It's the mid-morning buzz segment this time around. And let's say good morning to our online viewers this morning, especially those of you via Facebook. Good morning. Pretty soon, that link should be coming your way. And you can, of course, share the live link. And others would like to participate in terms of the viewing process. Those of you viewing via, of course, or listening, but I'm going to view, let's say good morning. Those of you listening via K105, good morning to you. And welcome. It's the mid-morning buzz. And we do have some guests who I will be having a bit of a chit-chat with shortly. It's all about World Youth Skills Day. And we'll be talking to, let me get a list of of the folks I'll be having that chit-chat with. Of course, we have Kate Julian with us this morning. We should also have Kieran Charles. He's part of the training programs, also part of the let me get that right. The National Training Agency. And we chatting with those folks, all pertaining to World Youth Skills Day. All right. So we're getting set to get into that interview. But chat, get some more information about the whole process of what it's all about. As soon as the interviews are all settled in, we'll have a chat with them. Let's go over and say good morning to Kay. Kay, good morning. I hope you don't mind me referring to you on a first name basis this morning. Good morning to you, Kay. How are you doing? Some reason, Kay, I think your microphone is muted, so you may have to unmute your microphone.
Oh, sorry about that. Good morning again.
It happens to the best of us. It happens. Well, it's not Joseph with you this morning. It's actually GT with you this morning. So, don't mind. It's GT with you this morning. Welcome to the Mid-Morning Buzz. How are you this morning?
Good morning, and it's a pleasure to be on the GBN Mid-Morning Buzz today. It's a special day for us at DNTA and, well, throughout the world, because we're celebrating youth and youth and skills today. Mm-hmm. So we did want to have a little chat with some of our youth on how they are utilizing the skills that they are using, that they are learning, and how they plan to utilize some of those skills, especially in a time where we're coming out of a pandemic. Mm-hmm. Where persons have lost jobs, persons have been unemployed for a while or underemployed or had to reskill, where new jobs have come on stream, and the whole environment and the whole, even us, look at us doing this interview via Zoom and via an online platform. In the past, we would not have done this. We would probably have come to your studio. So a lot has changed in the past 2 years, and so we want to talk about that and how that has impacted youth and affected their lives, and how they're using the training that they're currently doing to make a difference in their life and in the life of their country and the life of their community. I think part of some of the participants that you have on this morning on the program, they are doing training in areas which we may consider probably non-traditional. Mm-hmm. And also, I'm happy to say that we have quite a few females. You'll be interviewing a couple of females who are doing stuff that you probably in the past would not have seen a female doing. Right. And also, I believe we have one of our participants who's in ICT, and we know that is critical for working and living in today's world.
So, Kate, tell us about you. You being part of the National Training Agency. Am I right about that?
Yes, I am the Marketing and Communications Officer at the National Training Agency. All right.
And being associated with the World Youth Skills Day. Tell us more how this whole idea came about World Skills Day, and let us know more, especially for the listeners and viewers out there who may have just been hearing about it for the very first time. Give us some more details pertaining to it.
Right. So, Well, World Youth Skills Day started in 2014. Mm-hmm. It's a United Nations UNESCO observation. So it's not just something that we are just doing here in Grenada on our own. There are other bodies in Grenada who are celebrating this as well. There are other institutions throughout the region who are having observances today, throughout the world, as a matter of fact, because UNESCO UNIVOC, it's an observance that is put on by an organization called UNESCO Univoc. And UNESCO Univoc stands for the International Center for Technical and Vocational Training, Education and Training. And that is a subsidiary organization of the United Nations. So today, at this time, really, at the United Nations, there is also a webinar going on, a panel discussion that involves youth. And I sent out the link prior to today to institutions and training providers around the country and to the public in general, so that any young person can just register and tune into that event that is taking place right now. And that is streaming from the somewhere in New York in the United Nations Center. Okay. So it is a United Nations observance. Why did they start up? Why did they want to have such an activity or observance of youth in general? Because I guess it came to the realization that young people have a lot to offer, and young people are the ones who would be going into the workforce. They are the ones who need to be skilled and trained to take up jobs, to take up employment in the most productive years, the most physically fit and healthy years of their life. So it is important to understand the significance of youth. They are not to be pushed aside. Their contribution to the economy, to society is not to be pushed aside, cast aside. They are an important part of economic structure or economic infrastructure. We consider youth to be from generally 15 to 16 to 35. And basically young people who are going, when you come out of high school, secondary school, you go into post-secondary education, post-secondary being either college, TAMCC, NULO, and so on, or further field to tertiary level training. And then you get into, your career, your work environment, whatever it is you want to do as a career, your skilled area, entrepreneurship, whatever it is you decide to do that you have learned while you were either in high school or post-secondary education and training. Now you take that up as a career and you go forward, and you spend the next maybe 40 years of your life honing that skill, gaining more experience in your skill area, becoming a productive member of society in whatever field you choose, and until you retire. So it is very important that we give some focus to young people and for them to not get decent work, to be exposed to entrepreneurship, because we know that some of the world's richest people, or some of the youngest, the Mark Zuckerbergs, when Mark started Facebook, and the Google people, they were all in their 20s. And these people are now multi-billionaires. So that's what I'm saying. We should give credence to young people and what they can do. Young people have young minds, creative minds, innovative minds. They are passionate about things, so they can do a lot for our society. They can be change mechanism in our society. So it is important that we focus on them, that we give them the importance that they deserve in society. And I think this is what the observance was all about.
Let's talk basically about this year's theme in particular: transforming youth skills for the future. Give us some more details into that.
Right. So the theme coming out of UNESCO Univoc, because we've had between 2020 and this year, we've struggled. Our societies have struggled with the COVID-19 pandemic. We've been in lockdowns. People have died. Programs and training programs, as you know, initially when some countries went on lockdown and shutdowns, and so things had to basically freeze up for a while. Yes. So training programs may have stopped or be suspended. Persons had to look at alternative ways of continuing to do things. And we know that a lot of creativity came out of the pandemic, because if you have to continue having a livelihood, what would you do if you cannot move around, if you cannot be free to interact with people like you used to before the pandemic? You have to come up with new and creative ways to do things. And all of that would have been incorporated into the technical, vocational education and training dynamics. Now, it is important to note that technical and vocational education and training a lot of the times requires a lot of hands-on competency-based activities persons have to be so the COVID-19 pandemic presented a great challenge to persons who are in TVET, which is technical and vocational education and training programs.
So true.
Presented quite a great challenge because training providers and institutions had to figure out, well, how do we continue this? And so a lot of it branched out into things like using all of these online platforms to deliver training, to do simulations, to do blended and other types of learning, and maybe smaller groups. So the large classroom settings that people used to have, that had to be done away with, and maybe have smaller groupings and that sort of things. Persons had to think up new ways of doing, and that in fact presented a great challenge to youth because our youth are the ones who are, what happened with the school. Kids were at home and their teachers had to teach them online. So it's the same thing with our youth as well, who are in skills training. They had to find ways to be taught online. And so there was a great challenge. Not only that, but youth are facing a lot of other challenges, not just COVID, but there are some parts of the world where the climate change issues are affecting youth. We are having a lot of more natural disasters. There are some parts of the world where there's a lot of conflict. There are issues of persistent poverty. So poverty issues don't only affect our youth in Grenada, and we have a lot of that. But it also affects youth all over the world. They're the ones who they haven't acquired skill sets as yet, experienced skill sets. They probably don't have a fixed permanent job as yet. So any kickbacks in the society, any issues, they probably would be the first to be laid off and so on. So they have greater challenges with poverty than some other persons. They also get faced with inequality and gender issues that discriminate against them as well. They're trying to find themselves, their sexuality, so they face those challenges as well. Then there's also the rapid technological change, and we know that in Grenada. So our youth have to come on board, especially with the ICT, not just our youth, but our working population as well, so that we can manage and keep up with the rest of the world technologically. So there are a lot of reasons why that team was chosen this year. Basically, there's a recession going on, and it's affecting new youth. So they estimate that the UNESCO UNIVOC estimate that about 24 million learners from pre-primary to tertiary education remain at risk for not returning to study after the pandemic. Wow. Because some would have dropped out as a result of all of this mayhem over the past 2 years. So they're also affected by that, in that their learning has been compromised, and it's how to get them back into the system now after the COVID. So this year's team is just trying to say, well, what kind of activities can we do that would involve youth more, get them back into the system, get them back into learning after 2 years of probably being home alone, being taught online, being homeschooled, all of that kind of stuff. And especially to focus on women and girls who a lot of the times get pushed behind, get pushed aside.
All right. Let me ask you this. It seems like a lot of focus is presented or focused a lot more on the skills part of the training. Could we say that part of it, or is it there more of the theoretical or more the practical part of the training? Is it which part of the training is focused a lot more?
We are an agency that is the National Training Agency that oversees technical vocational education and training in Grenada. So that is what we deal with, our area of concentration. There are other bodies in Grenada that would deal with the academic side of education. So yes, you will hear me speaking a lot about skills, and the skill we don't want people to have like a knowledge of skill sets, but we want them to be competent in the skill sets.
All right.
Competent being that they are able to perform and do the skill. So we usually have like a three components to the competency-based education and training that we advocate, which is that persons must have the knowledge of the skill, knowledge of how to do. They must have the skill itself, be able to perform the skill. So if you must know how to build a table, but you must also be able to build the table. And then there's another component, which is attitude. And sometimes we forget that part or that component, but attitude is very important because a person may have really good skills, they may have everything, they may know how to build the table, they may know how to do the job, but if you cannot get along with other humans, if you don't know how to resolve conflicts really well, if you don't know how to communicate, one, if you're in entrepreneurship, you would not keep your customers for very long.
So true.
Persons may come to you once and they say, I'm not coming back to this place, I'm not coming back to this person, the attitude really stinks. Or if you're in a workplace, the same thing will happen. You may not keep the job for very long because your employers will get fed up of you. They don't like your attitude. They don't like how you're dealing with customers, or they don't like how you are addressing other co-workers and so on. So it is important that persons also have that component where attitude, how you deal with other people in the world is also an important part of that skills development.
All right.
So at the end of the day, you're an all-rounded whole, human that is capable of being, all-rounded.
Being part of the National Children Agency, what are some of the more major skills that you see young folks are being attracted to in Grenada per se, being the part that your agency pay a lot of attention? What are some of the skills program that you see young people are being so attracted to or wanting to be part of the agency or coming to the agency to be a part of?
Well, the intention is that of the National Training Agency is that we respond to demand from industry. There is no point in training persons in areas or in skills that at the end of the day they cannot get a job in. What's the point of that?
I agree.
Or they cannot. Nobody in society wants their service if they're in entrepreneurship. So you have to respond to the demand of your society, the demand of industry. So if there's a need for, let's say, if there's a need, as you can tell, we are a tourist island. A lot of tourists come here. So there would obviously be a lot of need for training in the hospitality and tourism, for jobs in the tourism and hospitality industry. Things like housekeeping and food and beverage and bartending and managing, because that's an area we think we tend to do the low end type of skills, but there are also high end level skills that are required as well. We need managers in our hotels at different levels. We need supervisors for our dining, for our kitchens, for housekeeping services and all of that. So we also need people to be trained as managers, supervisors, HR persons as well.
Okay.
But so there's a lot of demand in the housekeeping and in the tourism and hospitality industry. There's also a lot of demand in business services for persons who are admin assistants and managers and HR managers. Again, persons with secretarial skills. A lot of demand also for persons who are trained in ICT, computer, anything to do with computer technology and so on. That is growing in Grenada. There are some other areas of demand where we do not have persons trained. So those type of persons have to be imported. That labor has to be imported. As you can tell, I'm looking right now out of the window in my office, and there's a marina right down from me. And right now there are lots of boats there. Those boats have to be maintained, and there are different things that need to be fixed on the boats and so on. So that's an area area that there's a lot of demand for in the Caribbean right now in Grenada, because we have quite a few marinas they're growing, but a lot of the times we do not have people who are trained in marine, marine electronics, marine carpentry, marine. So that's an area that needs a lot of training has to be done in. We have a lot of training that takes place in construction, as you can tell. I know that around Grenada, there are quite a few, in the past few years, there have been quite a few large construction projects. So there is demand for construction personnel as well.
Okay.
And those are just a few areas of demand, but we have to train persons where there is demand so that at the end of the training, they can get a job or they can start their own business. If some people may say, oh, they may want to train in aeronautics or so on, but we do not have, yes, we have an international airport, but it's just that one airport. It's not infinite, so they would have to, if you do certain jobs or train in certain jobs, you may have to go get work in another country, because Grenada is a very small island.
Export their talent per se if they do train in these particular subject matters. Okay, interesting.
Right. So, and again, another area, because of the pandemic, this is one that has grown a lot. The pandemic required a lot of new jobs or increasing need for healthcare personnel. So there was a threat, of how, I'm sure you know that yourself, people were concerned. One of the concerns was, if a lot of people get sick, how are they going to be taken care of? Not only in terms of the facility and the space, but the personnel to take care of persons who are sick. So there has been a great demand for healthcare personnel at all levels, including for the elderly, care of the elderly, like geriatric care and so on.
Okay.
So we've had quite a bit of training in those areas.
All right. Okay, you have definitely told us a lot of interesting, of course, information there pertaining to the whole process in terms of World Youth Skills Day. We do have, of course, some of trainees with you this morning who I would like to speak to. Let them tell us about pertaining to, of course, their skills level and how has it been being part of the of course National Training Agency, how they have gotten into it and the skill they have learned per se. And I'm not sure if any of them are ready for me this morning, but we could tap them in and get a little feedback from them in terms of their skill. Let's talk to the females first, as they always are saying, ladies first. Let's talk to the females and see if they're ready. Let's see if we can talk to the females. They're already those trainees in terms of the skills area that they have studied in and so forth. And they're already with us, and I don't know if any one of them would like to throw their camera on so we could have a view of them and have a chit chat with them this morning. Who's ready for me? Good morning. Let's say good morning to Miss Danielle. How you doing?
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And good morning to the listening public.
Welcome to, of course, a Mid Morning Buzz. Now, give us a little background about you and how you started in your particular skill area that you have so far been into.
Okay, so I'm Clarissa Daniel from St. David. So I'm in Yulo doing solar installation, CVQ level 2. Yes. And I am in a class about 20 students, with only 3 of us being females.
All right. Now, being a female, let me ask you this. Being a female and doing the solar installation and the maintenance part of it, how has that been for you as a female? Was it challenging, or was it a process that you think that you fit into easily?
Well, at first it was a bit challenging, but getting to know the different part of it, and it's very interesting that some of us as women, we do emerge on top of the guys. So it is very interesting for us.
Why did you choose that? Why did you choose that particular skill area per se? Why did you choose that particular skill area?
Well, solar right now, you think about climate change, everything, the world is changing. So to me, it's like a contribution to helping the world, not just Grenada, but helping my community, helping the country, because solar is developing.
No, tell me, were you able to put into practice what you have learned thus far? Were you able to put into practice at all at any time?
Well, right now I'm in the training process. I have not gone out to the job training as yet, but yes, we're training in the solar installation, and yes, sometimes we get the opportunity to go out and assist in installing some of the systems.
All right. Let's move over to, of course, Miss Edwards. How you doing this morning? How are you? Somehow your audio seems to be a little bit low. Could you probably boost your audio a little bit? May I hear you if you're here with us? It seems no. For some reason or the other. Could you have that rectified? Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me okay? I would assume.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead. You, Ms. Edwards, you've been part of the refrigeration and air conditioning. Tell us about that particular skill that you've been into, and how has it been for you so far? Still not getting an audio from you. I'm not sure if your microphone is plugged in or if there's an issue on your end. All right. Well, Ms. Edwards, we may have to come back to you shortly. Let's see if we could have a chit-chat, of course, with, another of the participants this morning. Who else we have with us? We have Kieran. Kieran, are you there? Well, for some reason, I think we may have lost some of the participants. I'm not sure if it's Kay with us once again, so we probably may have to take a wrap and have a chat with Kay and come back. Kay, are you back with us? Seem to be a little bit of technical issue.
We're gonna try to see if they can. Karen is on, so I think you will be able to speak to him. They're gonna let us know as soon as they've resolved the audio problems. Ricardo is a refrigeration and air conditioning student, and Karen is in computer. Karen, can you hear me? Karen?
I'm not sure, but if Kieran is hearing us, I'm not sure why. But we just have a few more minutes left on the interview, so we may have to reschedule one of these days, because it would be nice to hear more from these youngsters in terms of their training and how has it been for them. So just to wrap up, Kay,
maybe we could see if we could have a switch between maybe Kieran and Ricardo could speak from Palrisha's. They could probably just use her mic or something,
probably
that would be easy. Yes.
Probably.
So if you're hearing me, Ricardo, can you? I know you're in the same room as Palrisha. Can you use her mic? Just come on and use her system and just talk so we can know that you're on. Just come in from that computer or whatever, and so we can know that you're on. Because we were hearing her perfectly fine, and I think you're in the same room.
All right.
Would that work?
All right. Seems that there's
hearing me now?
Yeah, we are hearing you pretty
they're
great.
Hearing you now.
All right.
She on now.
All right, so we do have, of course, that's Ms. Edwards. Talk to us once again, because we do have a few more minutes left before we wrap this morning. And Ms. Edwards, you are part of the particular skill area that you have been training in is refrigeration and air conditioning. Tell us about that particular area and how has it been for you? How was the training process? And tell us give us a little more detail pertaining to how you feel about doing that particular profession per se.
Well, in the beginning, it was very challenging being the only girl in the midst of 20-something boys. But it progressed very nicely, and I'm in the middle of doing my assessments.
All right.
To complete my part in the skill area, and I will advise other females to get into it because it's a very nice thing to have as a skill or a career in the future.
All right. Interesting. So I'm assuming, what level have you gotten to now? You're still in the training process. Of course, the assessment part, as you have mentioned a while ago, you getting to the assessment part. And how does the future look for you being, of course, someone who deals with refrigeration and conditioning? Would you like to fully go through in that as a career? Totally.
Yes, I would. But being it being a level 1 CVQ,
Yes.
I would like to go forward and do a level 2, so I won't have to have somebody over me, so I would have to,
Okay. You want to be your own boss, technically.
Yes.
All right, interesting. Happy to hear that. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Edwards, and certainly I want to wish you all the best, and certainly hope that, as you said, you want to go, you were at level 1, you want to go to level 2, and even beyond that, in terms of having that as a level of profession. Thank you so much. Is Kiran there, so we can have a chit-chat with him quickly?
Yes, he is.
All right, let me just get him on. I'm going to have a bit of a chit-chat with him before we wrap. Hey, we're moving down, folks. It's 25 minutes moving out before the top 12 here on K105 and GBN TV. It's the Mid-Morning Buzz. Let me say good morning to you, Kiran. How you doing this morning, sir?
Morning, I'm good at you.
All right. Now, tell us, you're into the computer engineering part of the training program. How has it been for you thus far?
It's been fun so far.
Fun so far. I'm assuming you are being part of the computer engineering. You like dealing with computers, I would say.
Yeah.
Was it something that you endorsed before actually going into the actual training program? Was it something that you were always playing around with those things, and you decide you want to take it to another level?
Yeah, when I was in secondary school, since primary school, I liked to deal with it, and then I lost the passion because I didn't get to do it for CXC, and then I saw the opportunity to do it last year, so I took it up again.
All right. And in all the training you have received thus far, how has it? How is that? How do you feel about? Has it been beneficial for you thus far?
Well, it has been, because now the training is over. We just prepared for the exam at the moment. So in September I would be doing my CompTIA E+
Okay.
Exam.
All right. And you're looking for a high level of certification in that, to say?
Yeah, I'm looking to further it and get other certificates.
All right. I want to thank you so much for being part of here this morning, and certainly I want to wish you all the best in the career that you have chosen. Best wishes to you. All right, Kay, we're going to get it set to wrap up this morning. I want to thank you for, of course, sharing all the information. And, of course, I'm sure there are probably youngsters out there who probably never thought about getting into these particular professions there is out there. And the National Training Agency here, will, of course, you will of course, encourage them, of course, to get in contact with you and build a career of the different skills that is available out there. Anything final?
Before I wrap up, I just want to say, well, there are a number of activities going on for World Youth Skills Day.
Yes.
And one of the things that is happening today is a launch of our Skills in Action photo competition. So we want to encourage all the youth out there to participate. Persons can submit their photos to the National Training Agency. We will vet it. And then if we think it's good enough, we'll recommend them or advise them to submit it onto the international competition. Do you know what it'd be like? Every year we receive posters to put up and to circulate from UNESCO Univoc with different youth and skills. So it would be nice to have a Grenadian on the poster. So if somebody could look, a poster is up on a wall somewhere, it's on social media, you Google it or whatever, and you say, I know that person. That person looks like, and because they would put a collage together of from the different countries. So it'd be nice. So I'm asking persons to submit, just a photo of you in action doing your skill, whatever it is. You can also submit videos to us because we want to be able to promote that on our Facebook page, on our website, and so on. So we're asking persons to also submit videos that are like a minute or less that we could use to put together, take a good quality video and we can put it together, on our Facebook and so on. But for the photo competition, persons can submit it to the NTA. You can send it to info. You can send the photos to info@grenada.nta.gd or send it to my email, communications@nta.gov.gd. But I would like to ask persons, if you don't remember what I've just said, just go to our website, find the NTA website, www.grenada.nta.gd. Our contact information is there, and you can send the photos through there or the videos through through there on the contact information that you see there. So we would like, that competition is running for a month from today to the 15th of August. So we would really like persons to submit photos, and then we can send them to UNESCO Univoc for the competition. It would be nice if a Grenadian could be on the poster. So thank you so much for having us on. And I'd like to say that thank you to the young persons who were on the program this morning. As you can see, they have broken barriers. They are breaking barriers. The young women who are in the refrigeration and the solar, and Ricardo is like the only female in her class, and the other one is one of three. And then the gentleman in ICT, Karan, he's interested in that, and that's an area that is greatly needed in our country. So we like to encourage all the young people, not just those who have been on the program and the other programs that we've done, but all young people to follow your passion, undertake the things that you like, challenge yourself. It may not be the norm. Persons may not expect you to do it, but if you like it and you think you can do it, give it a try. So thank you again for having us on the program.
Well, Sri, thank you also, Kay, for participating this morning. It was a pleasure having the chit-chat with you folks. Have yourself a great day today. It's a mid-morning bus here on the K105, folks, and we've been chatting, of course, with Kejula and other members of the NTA, who are part of that youth skills training program, folks. So until then, have yourself a great day. We do have a lot of guests that we do have to entertain this morning. We will be back shortly. It's, of course, the mid-morning buzz here on. We take a break. We're coming right back.
They are the few, the strong, the elite. Grenada, get ready as our sporting gladiators go for gold and glory at the World Championships. Follow every throw, stride and jump from July 15th to the 24th. Capture the action daily on GBN television. It's the World Championships. The dream continues.
James is going to win it.
GBN's broadcast of the 2022 World Athletics Championship is made possible by Royal Horizon and Quick and Easy Paper Towels, Republic Bank, Demerara Mutual Life, On the Spot Hardware, National Lotteries Authority, Grenlex, Grenville Credit Union, Jediah Pharmacy, Antillian General Insurance, Kenny's Trucking, Spice Isle Imaging Center, Grenada Cooperative Bank, Grenada Tourism Authority, Hubbard's, Hills and Valley Pharmacy, Guardian General Insurance, Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, Cardon Plus, the Ministry of Social Development, Gravel Concrete and Emulsion Production Corporation, Sol EC Limited Grenada, and Western Union.
Hails from Corinth in St. David. Real name, Sean Niles. Sobriquet, Sour Serpent. Coming to do for us his first rendition, Two Wrongs Make a Right. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for Sour Serpent doing Two Wrongs Make a Right.
Progress Park. How you doing? Two wrongs make a right. Good evening. Whenever there was a conflict, a fight, my teacher said two wrongs don't make a right. So before we start to cast blame, we all getting chastised the same. But this ongoing industrial quagmire had made things teachers, they not guilt-free. They operated heavy-handedly by ignoring all the labor rules and threatening to shut down all them schools. They're wrong. Sin knows they're wrong. While the government saying they can't pay that kind of money, my PM was talking about raising minister's salary. Well, the teachers get agitated and they start to behave insipid, just so they lose their cool and for 10